Hi, everybody, and welcome to the In the Bullseye Podcast. I'm voice of the Bulls, Paul Peck, joined by UB Wrestling head coach Donnie Vinson. We haven't talked in a while, and I apologize for that because I enjoy finding out what's going on with your gang. Here you are, kind of midway through the season. Are you are you in full regular season mode at this point, Coach?
Well, first off, there's a good reason for you not being able to come in too often. Our football team had
I was a little tied up with other stuff, yes.
But yeah, no, we I would say that we're borderline postseason at this point. We've hit our conference duel portion of the season, which takes a lot of time and mental effort to really zone in on that focus, and the guys are responding well, but that is the portion of the season that we have about 3 more weeks of duels, and then we are truly in the postseason.
Yeah, 3 weeks in a row at home. We'll talk a little bit about that upcoming schedule with Coach in a minute, but let's take a quick look back. You're coming off having won your last 2 duels. You're 2-2 in MAC meet so far. Is that to you a sign of progress, a sign of taking steps forward? What have the results told you about your squad so far?
It's what I would expected. I came into a program that had Division I athletes in on it. We had a lot of turnover from the previous starting roster, if that's what you want to call it, and just the ability of our guys to go and fill in the spots that we need and still be competitive within the MAC. It's everything that I asked for my first year. I obviously didn't want to be at the bottom of the barrel within the MAC. We're shooting for the top half, if not replicating what the results were last year with a few less guys. But again, I think everything has been happening accordingly.
You've got a nice mix of some younger, newer guys that you have brought into the program, but it's primarily still guys that were here before. So what's the transition been like for you with different ideas, different coaching techniques, maybe just different approaches? How about your guys that coming back from last year being open and learning to all the ways that you want to do things differently?
First, I wanted to make a connection with the guys that did stick around. I like to tap myself on the back, but I would imagine that the reason for them sticking around primarily is the wonderful education that they're going to be able to get here at UB. The city itself is extremely drawing, so again, I didn't really know. I was the outsider coming in, so I had to go and extend the olive branch to those guys and earn their trust and respect so that I could progress in implementing our system, our mentality, you name it. That first 2-3 months, it was all about them, pretty much all the way up until our preseason, and then they saw the new Don put on a different hat, where so they're probably going to say that I wasn't as friendly, but I definitely ask a lot from them.
I can't believe that.
I know, right? I've got a smile on my face most of the time, but no, again, it's... They definitely know how to train. The former coach did a great job. Again, we have the same goal, which is to win at a high level, but we're just attacking that goal a little bit differently. And depending on what guys want to stick around and truly adapt to what I'm preaching, you see the jump forward that they have made.
You know, you've been around the sport all your life. You've been around some incredible high-level people, but that was always as an assistant. Now you've got your chance to be a head coach for the first time. What's that adventure been like for you so far?
Well, it's a heck of a lot easier to ride someone else's coattails. I've been blessed to have really great mentors when it comes down to it. Coach Cole, Coach Papalicio, Coach Gray, Hahn, Beasley, right? All these guys who have had wonderful, they're really creators of programs, right? That's been my mentor. That's been my philosophy. I was excited about taking this task up where I knew that we really had to go and continue to build, right? So that we could eventually get to the elite levels that I have been associated with. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to be a 3 to 5 year process. But when that time comes around, I'm excited for everyone saying, hey, you've got some pretty good assistant coaches that are used to winning as well.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so Friday at Northern Illinois, and then Sunday home for the first of 3 straight Sundays. You've got a home dual meet against Central Michigan. What's the expectations for you, or how are you thinking about looking at this schedule, knowing you got 3 straight at home, you got a chance to rack some wins together to get yourself ready for championship time?
Yeah, our guys are expecting to win every time they go and walk out onto the mat. Individually, I think that these duels are going to be more important. Again, our sport is is kind of split from, okay, we obviously want to win all of our dual championships or our dual meets and eventually win that the MAC conference title. But as of right now, I think that the fan base and the NCAA in general are really just worried about the March, which is the individual component of the sport. So us looking into it, yes, it's going to be super good to go and get some of these W's, but I am really looking forward to some of the real fine details within the match, the matches within the match, elite matchups for that seeding criteria at the MAC tournament, getting the bids at the NCAA tournament. These next few matches or duels are going to be very significant for some individuals on the team.
All right, let's talk about some of the individuals, some of the guys that have kind of emerged as not only your best wrestlers, but I'm sure you might tell me some of your leaders as well. And we'll start with Caleb Burgess at 157.
Yeah, Caleb was one of the guys that was in the portal. We had to sit down, and he dragged me through the mud for about a month and a half. Ultimately, he decided, you're preaching something pretty solid. I'm ready to go and jump all in. And he's responded really well. Right off the bat, he had a big upset at Clarion. It took a little bit of a dip, which, I mean, that's pretty consistent for most athletes in our sport. But the past few weeks, he's really been amping it up, being extremely offensive, getting bonus points as a team leader, which we would expect. Just really able to go and anchor our team down.
How about at 184, Marcus Petit, a guy who has been around this program for a long time, but maybe now emerging as a little more of a leader for you? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with our first interaction, he was out at U23s and missed weight. So I was looking at him at the start of the season, and I'm like, you're definitely not a 65-pounder, and you're struggling to make 74. So let's take a leap of faith and just go up 2 weight classes. Which, if you ask him, he was looking a little fleshy, and everyone in his family would agree with that. But now he's got all the man muscles that you could imagine to be very explosive and just, again, another point scoring machine up at 184 for us.
That's a top 5 wrestling adjective, fleshy.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I love it. And then one of the other interesting stories that I want you to dive into a little bit is Ty Raines, another guy that fans have seen wrestle for this program before. It's been kind of an interesting year for him coming off an injury, and is he starting to be the Ty Raines that we know he can be right about now?
Yeah, another guy who's just been plagued with injury throughout his career. And again, I took it as an opportunity. We had to sit down at the beginning of the year. He told me that his number one goal was to be healthy and able to actually become a police officer, go through the academy, XYZ, and to accomplish those future goals, he just requested that one thing. So another guy who bumped up 2 weight classes. We PT'd the heck out of his knee. He's feeling fantastic. He just hit the 8-match required minimum for the college coaches polls ranking, so hopefully he sneaks in there this week. But again, a great recovery and a great story altogether.
All right, well, those are 3 of the names that are leading the way for Donnie. There are other younger names. We're starting to learn some of them. There are other guys that have been on this team before that have raised the level of their performance because of the coaching of Donnie and the staff. So get on out here any of the next 3 Sundays, starting with this Sunday at home, noon, against Central Michigan. Donnie, good luck down the stretch here. It's going to be fun to see your team continue to take the next steps forward.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that is Donnie Vinson. He is the Bulls wrestling head coach as we are right in the middle of the prime of the season as we get you ready for the MAC championships. Donnie, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Hope to see you at Alumni Arena. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the In the Bullseye Podcast.